Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning sexuality podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. I'm thrilled to announce that Please Me is the #1 ranked sexuality podcast in the USA and worldwide. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sex education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Last week, I interviewed the Touchy Subjects podcast hosts, Sean and Amanda, about the realities of human trafficking. If you missed that episode, be sure to go back and listen. This conversation is full of safety information we all need to know and is sure to surprise you. Please share it with someone you love. Today's episode kicks off my new Kink Series, and I couldn't be more excited. Last month, I spent 5 days at a dominatrix conference where I learned so much about power exchange, BDSM, and began my deep dive into the world of kink. I met some incredible people, including Maeve McBride, a top in the BDSM community who taught an amazing class on intuitive topping. It was one of my favorites, and I'm thrilled to bring her to the Please Me stage for the first episode of this series. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed our conversation. Huge thanks to everyone who's rated, reviewed, and shared Please Me. Because of you, we're now the #1 sexuality podcast in the world. Your support amplifies vital conversations about pleasure, healing, and sexual empowerment. Keep the momentum going, leave a review, share your favorite episode, and help us reach even more listeners. This week, I'm shouting out 5 amazing countries where Please Me hit #1. United Arab Emirates, Vietnam, Ecuador, Iceland, and Malaysia. Thank you for tuning in and turning up the volume on pleasure. I'm also raising funds for survivors of the recent catastrophic typhoon in the Philippines, which struck just weeks after a devastating 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit the same region. Please check the show notes for the donation link. Any support you can give is truly appreciated. Want to ask me a question for the Please Me podcast? Join the conversation on Patreon or subscribe to my Substack newsletter. Both communities give you access to exclusive content, updates, and the chance to have your questions featured on the show. Please Me is for mature audiences, so sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
Getting ready to step into your career era? Set yourself apart with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Hone your skills with apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, and more, powered with the latest in creative AI. Students save over 55% so you can build a portfolio you're proud of. Launch your future with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Visit adobe.com/students to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. New players, new games, new rules. Squid Game, The Challenge returns for a gripping second season. 456 contestants from all walks of life, competing in the ultimate test of strategy, alliances, and endurance. For a life-changing prize of $4.56 million. With stakes this high, why make friends when you can make millions? Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
Hello, and welcome to Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I am so thrilled to invite Maeve McBride onto the show. She is an educator, an erotic and BDSM coach, and a sexological herbalist. And I met her at a conference called DomCon. And that is where dominatrixes come from all over the country and world. I'm sure there was people from other parts of the world. Actually, I met someone from France who come and learn the skills of a dominatrix. And I was in total heaven. I'm not going to lie, I felt like I was at home, even though I feel like I'm relatively new to the scene. And I took her class, which was one of the first classes that I took, called Intuitive Topping. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit today. She is also an event producer and community organizer, and she is the executive director of KinkFest 2025 and coming up 2026. So with all of that being said, I want to welcome you to Please Me. Hi, Maeve. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on the show, Eve. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm so excited to have had come back from that conference, and I felt super inspired by all of the women that I met and all of the things that I learned. And I really wanted to bring that education to my listeners. And so I decided that I'm going to be doing a Kink Series, and it's going to be amazing. All of these amazing women, and Maeve is the first one I'm bringing on, and she's going to give us the basics today of what BDSM is. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what is a dom and what is a sub? So let's start with dom. Yeah. Okay, there's multiple names for it, right? And it can be, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah. So I think there's actually 4 terms in BDSM that are important to know. So there's dominant and submissive, and there's top and bottom. And then there's actually 2 others that are right in between those 2. So I think it's better to start out with topping and bottoming, because that is something that's more universally applicable. So in BDSM, a top is the person that does the things. So like if we're going to do an impact scene and I were topping, then I would be the person that was doing the impact, right? Causing the impact. And the bottom would be the person who's receiving it. So there's power in both of those roles, and they're clearly negotiated. In between a top and a bottom, a person who does both of those things as like their general persuasion or how they orient, is a verse, VERS, right? It stands for versatile. I like to do the things, I like to receive the things. The terms that most people are familiar with when they think of BDSM are dominant or dominatrix, and submissive. So in that kind of, we call it a power exchange, there is a negotiation, and the submissive gives the power to the dominant to do certain things that are previously negotiated. So the key is negotiation is important in all of this. And these are established roles, and they're designed to give a good container for us to play in. So that's what we call what we do is play. And play is not always sexual. So the dominant is often the person directing the things. So a submissive can actually do things at the direction of the dominant. It's not just a one-way street as far as giving and receiving, but the dominant takes on a lot of the decision-making power within the negotiated role. And then the submissive, the trope is that the submissive gives a lot of power to the dominant, and that can be true. The submissive will receive things that the dominant decides on, again, within negotiated limits. But in my opinion, there's power in all of these things. When we have power exchange, for instance, between a dominant and a submissive, the dominant is receiving power from the submissive to make choices or to do things. But then the submissive also has the power in that they are giving the opportunity for a dominant to do things. And so we think of them as these power imbalances, when in reality, I see that there's power being exchanged, and that's why we call it power exchange. So I hope that information helps. In between, a person who does both, who engages in dominance and submission, sometimes in the same scene. So the scene is a specific play session, but maybe also in their lifestyle or within a given role or amongst a lot of different relationships, there's a switch. So a switch is like a verse, except for they engage in that power exchange.
Okay, I had never heard the term verse, so that was a new one for me. So, see, we're learning together, and I'm still learning so much, and I'm just like fascinated by the whole kink and BDSM world, and so I'm so excited for you to be here with me today. And I want to talk about when it comes to topping, because your class was called intuitive topping.
Yes.
So when it comes to topping, where does the intuition come in?
Well, that's a good question. And that's the primary purpose of the class. So I think the first thing is to dispel the myth that intuition is synonymous with being psychic. So that's the idea behind the class. We're not psychic. When I'm topping or I'm doing a thing, like if I am with a client and I am and we've negotiated something that I'm going to do for the client, or with a partner, or just somebody that I'm going to play with, there's a certain aspect of what I like to call data collection that needs to happen. Intuition is not being psychic. Intuition is pattern recognition and the ability to make a choice based on previous data that you have, or previous experiences is the term most people would use, and then use that information to intuit or determine what the best next right thing is. What is the thing that I should do? And the thing about intuition is it happens in real time, right? So it is quite often our in the moment decision-making capabilities and the process by which we determine in BDSM how a scene would go, or the next thing that I'm going to do as a top. It's a skill. So it's something that can be developed and honed over time. And it naturally will, regardless of a person's effort. But there are things that we can do, different sorts of observations that we can specifically make in a person's state of being or their state of wellness. There's observations that we can make regarding their behavior and how they're responding to the input that we are giving them. And then we use all of that to make that next best right choice. So that's the concept behind it. What I found is in both my educational practice and in coaching, that people get really hung up on, what do I do? What do I do next? And rightfully so, people are really concerned about screwing up and hurting or harming a person. So we say in BDSM, like, we negotiate hurt. Like, receiving impact can be painful. It isn't always, right? But we don't want to harm somebody. And we think of harm as lasting damage. And so the purpose of the class is to give people repeatable tools that they can utilize from person to person, from play session to play session, from intimate moment to intimate moment, and be able to have more confidence in themselves because they're actually doing work. They're taking the time to process what has happened in the past, think about what they want to do in the future, and then gradually they become more confident in doing that in real time.
Yeah, so you're looking at things like if a person is moaning, or if they are breathing heavy, or their body language, anything else, like what else can you add that you're actually physically looking for that can help you and guide you to that next best thing. Yep. And hone that intuition.
Yeah, exactly. The challenge comes in that we can talk about nonverbal communication and body cues. I work with a lot of folks who are they would consider themselves to be neurodivergent or neurospicy. I myself am as well. And so not everybody has the natural capacity, or it's not even an inclination, it's the way that our brains are wired to be able to observe things like a person's facial mannerisms and their expressions to determine what the next best right thing is to do. Okay. So the thing that we want to do is we also want to focus on the individual. So there are we could say that there are general guidelines or behaviors that humans engage in, but we're playing with a specific person, not all of humanity. And so it's important to determine yes, of course, we can learn these broader behavioral patterns that we consider for a population. But then when we're playing with an individual, we have to determine, one, if those are even true for that individual. And two, does that individual, like, if things aren't like going according to a pattern that we've studied, we need to study that individual and really take in a lot of observation. And what I do is I change my gaze to look at the overall person, and then I will hyper focus on certain aspects of their body and just take note of, like, when they are communicating that they're experiencing pleasure, I see their body behaving this way. When they are saying that they're experiencing pain, negotiated pain that's wanted, their body looks like this, or they sound like this. And then that's how we tailor our play to the person that we're playing with. And that's so important, because it's not just, I'm not just out there to get my yayas for what I want. I'm out there to connect with another human being. And I'm going to not only have a more fulfilling play experience, but I'm going to reduce harm by focusing on the individual and really paying attention to the signals that they're giving me. And sometimes that's no signals at all, which is the most challenging.
Yes, then you really have to hone that intuition, right? And really pay attention.
Yeah, I also need to seek more communication. So there's also
ask questions.
Yep. More data collection. You don't know the answers to the things that you don't ask about.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to just go back a little bit and just talk about, in my experience, kink has always been tied with sexuality. But I know that, you know, having been to this conference and learned about things like the art of the beatdown, you know, it doesn't always necessarily go hand in hand with sex. Can you just speak on that a little bit? Because I feel like people need to understand that aspect of it. It can be for other purposes.
If you've ever wished sex could feel more connected, more intense, or honestly just more fun, you need to check out Shameless Care. They're a telemedicine company built entirely around sexual health, real doctors, real prescriptions, and products that actually work. Like Shameless Chemistry, their oxytocin plus tadalafil blend that deepens connection and boosts arousal. Or Shamelessly Aroused, a topical cream with the active ingredient found in men's ED medication, increasing blood flow exactly where it counts. Every order includes a short video introduction from your doctor, transparent pricing, and no subscriptions ever. Just real, sex-positive healthcare that delivers results. Because you're a Please Me listener, you can use coupon code PLEASEME for $15 off your order of any product on the Shameless Care website. Use the code PLEASEME, that's PLEASEME, at checkout to claim your $15 off. Again, that's shamelesscare.com, code PLEASEME. Because great sex shouldn't be complicated. It should be shameless. This episode is sponsored by Shameless Care.
Discover the extraordinary fragrance Ariana Grande REM Cherry Eclipse. Delight in black cherry jubilee, sugared honeysuckle, marshmallow meringue, and glowing amber. Get the perfect fragrance, Ariana Grande's REM Cherry Eclipse, exclusively at Ulta Beauty.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Why wait for Black Friday? Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. From pet parents to jet setters to busy families, Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
This episode is brought to you by eBay. Buying parts for your car? You'll know that will it work feeling. But on eBay, buying parts is different. eBay's free returns means if it doesn't fit, or if it isn't what you expected, you just print a label, drop it off, and get your refund fast. No haggling, no stress, and at least 30 days to return any eligible item. Millions of parts, free returns. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Absolutely. So people engage in kink and BDSM for a variety of reasons. Some folks enjoy role playing. Some people have fetishes, and a fetish is something that is kind of required to turn them on. And when we say turn on, I think of it's more light a person up. We're looking for things that are going to engage our bodies, minds, and spirits in ways that make us feel good or make us feel the desired emotion that we're having. So for instance, like I'm a trauma survivor of multiple forms of sexual trauma. I'm transparent about that in my classes, and I teach a lot of trauma-informed classes because of it. Do I have a license to I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a survivor. And so I engage in a lot of kink non-sexually because I can get things like endorphin rushes that give me that feeling of elevation or excitement, catharsis, being able to cry. There's a wide variety of emotion. And because I'm an emotional player, not everybody engages in emotional play. But I can do that within these negotiated roles. And when we negotiate, then we can have these safe containers to explore a variety of sensations and experiences, regardless of whether they have sex or not. I think everybody's on a spectrum, right? I think that's something that is becoming more widely accepted now, especially in sexual communities. We have folks that are asexual. Not that they don't engage in sex, because there's even a spectrum within the ace population. There are some that maybe it's not their go-to, but they will do it for a partner. There's some people who are just non-sexual. They engage in kink all the time. So, I think the biggest example that people have about kink and BDSM is often pornography. Pornography is often sexual. Most of the time it is sexual. And there's a lot of great femme and them content creators now, but traditionally it was for the male gaze for many, many years. And so I think people get that like sexual, like visual learner kind of input because that's what's widely available on the internet, and don't realize that there's like a whole myriad of possibility behind it. Any type of play that you do pretty much in kink and BDSM can be sexual or non-sexual. It can be sensual meaning that maybe there's a lot of sensual or exciting touch, but it doesn't go to sex necessarily. There's so many different options. And so it's like I like to think of it when I talk to my clients who are new to BDSM is it's layers, right? So what is the thing that I want to do? Who is the person that I want to do the thing with? And how do I want to engage? And what do I want to embody? Those give us these like 4 layers of options. And there's even more on top of that, but that's the more simplified model to basically it's like choose your own adventure every single time you play. So it's not far off from those books, actually. So yeah.
And that leads me to my next question, because I think it goes sort of hand in hand with what you're talking about. Can you explain what a scene is?
Absolutely. So a scene is a play session. So play can be anything from platonic to sexual. It can include any negotiated aspect that the parties who are engaging in it want to engage in. So a scene, the idea is the scene is the boundaries of we have a start time and we have a finish time. That's the scene. For this allotted amount of time in this particular place, et cetera, we are going to have these roles. We have agreement that you're going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. These are our safe words. Like if something is wrong and we need to stop the scene, we're going to say this thing or do something that indicates that it needs to stop. And then we're going to have this delineated time beforehand for negotiation. During the scene, the best practice is to not renegotiate anything. And I can talk about that, why we would do that in a minute. And then we have, once the scene is finished, something that's called aftercare. And aftercare is where we basically give ourselves an on-ramp to the scene, which is the negotiation and setting the parameters of what we want to do. We engage in the scene. And then aftercare is the off-ramp where we come back down to our regular day selves, right? Even if I was in a dominant position and somebody I was playing in was in a submissive position, we want to like peter out of that slowly, because otherwise you can have drop, which is your drop can get worse. Drop can happen anyways, but like it can feel too jarring to end the scene. And it's like, okay, bye. But then how do I go about existing in the world when I was existing in these roles? And so that's a best practice for safety. In aftercare, we also do things like hugs and cuddles, even if we were doing heavy impact or a beat down, as you took that class. And we're probably going to have snacks, which is one of my favorite part of any which are often pre-negotiated. And then after that, in negotiation, it's good to establish a follow-up schedule. Do we want a phone call the next day just to check in to see how the other person's doing, or other folks? Because you can be in a scene with multiple people. So that's kind of the structure. I have personally been in scenes that were very short. Maybe they were 15 minutes. And then I've been in a scene that was an entire weekend long power exchange role play. So they can exist for any length of time that is previously agreed upon. So yeah, so that's a scene. The scene is when you're doing the things.
Amazing. And I have a confession to make. After I took your class, I was so curious about what it would feel like to be your bottom or your submissive. Yeah. And so I reached out to you right away, and
You're very brave.
And I was like, I want to interview you for my show. And by the way, by the way, I am wanting to be your submissive because you were so amazing in explaining how to be an intuitive top. And I wanted to feel what it would feel like to have someone that was so in touch with being intuitive in that moment. And so I asked you if you would be interested, and you said yes. So do you want to just tell everybody what we talked about in terms of our pre-negotiation?
I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. For the full episode, over an hour long, join me on Patreon. Every Friday, we'll explore the world of kink, BDSM, and power exchange with amazing guests who are professionals in the community. On Patreon, you'll get the entire episodes of my Kink Series, including all the juicy insights and intimate conversations we can't fit in the free version. For just $10 a month, you'll also receive exclusive content, including photos and behind-the-scenes material from dominatrixes and other kink experts. Don't miss a single episode of this BDSM and kink exploration series. Join today and take your curiosity to the next level.
Are you looking for a sexy date? Look no further than SDC.com. SDC.com is the premier ethically non-monogamous website that is worldwide. It also hosts a wealth of information on sexuality and sexual health, and I host a free live webinar monthly on the site. You can use code 37340 for a free trial membership on me, and be sure to reach out on the site and say hello.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here, wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Oh.